Hi, Tommy. I'm Dave Gladwell with AIL Canada. How are you? Can you see and hear me okay? Great. I'm the licensed benefit rep that's doing all the union benefits here in Alberta. By the way, is Jane there? These benefits apply to her as well, so please take a seat where I can see both of you on screen because this is really important. So let me ask you, did you talk with your cousin Spencer to find out what he's done for you and your family and why I'm meeting with you today? No? No problem. I'll back up and fill you in on what's going on. As you probably know, Spencer is with the police union. Now, I don't know how familiar you are with unions like the UFCW, police, firefighters, and Teamsters, but you've probably heard they have some of the very best benefits out there. American Income is the unionized company that does all the benefits for the major unions and associations. Now, your cousin Spencer is in good standing with the police union, and he was allowed to extend some of his permanent and portable benefits to his family members and those close to him. Now, you guys, do you know the difference between your temporary benefits and your permanent benefits? No. Do you get benefits where you work? Well, the unions, they have really good benefits. What they mean by temporary is that a lot of people have benefits through work, but when you leave your job, change careers, or retire, your benefits go away. So they've set up permanent ones that fill in all your gaps while you're working. So whenever you do change jobs or retire, you get to take these with you and they never expire. Now, did Spencer go over this with you? No? No problem. He probably left that up to us for good reason. Yeah. Now, Tommy, were you working today? Right. And where do you work? Have you been doing that a long time? Right. And a critical question, do you like it? Do any of us like work, right? And what about you, Jane? Where do you work? And you like it? Okay, well, great. I really kind of like my job. Helping people out is a big deal for me. How long have you been there? And have you guys always lived in Calgary? Right. Yeah. Now, Tommy and Jane, my job is to go over your benefits and help you get enrolled. When I'm finished, they have you fill out a report card that will go back to the police union so they know I've done my job. Is that fair? Yeah. They have me meeting with you for two reasons. One, to explain the benefits package your cousin qualified you for. And secondly, the most important reason that we are meeting is that I'm going to see if you can actually qualify for the permanent benefits your cousin made available to you. I'm going to let you know right now, it's going to be really hard to qualify, and many people don't. So what I would like to do first, bear with me, is share my screen to show you these benefits. So this, Tommy and Jane, this is your AD&D, Accidental Death and Dismemberment Certificate, coming to you through the police union and American Income. That's the group insurance company. This covers you for $2,000 when you die in any type of accident. It's non-contributory and non-participating, which means you don't have to pay for it and you're already qualified. Pretty nice, eh? Yeah. Who do you want as beneficiary? And what's your date of birth? Okay. They'll email your certificate for your record so that when something happens, you'll have proof of it. Does that make sense? And what email should they send it to? Okay. This is your Vision Discount Care, your Vision Care discount card. This card is no cost and it will give you discounts over and above your work benefits on vision and non-prescription sunglasses. So over and above your work benefits by 15% with sunglasses and over and above your benefits with vision for 30%. Here you will find all the providers and it covers everyone here in your household. I'll email this to you too. Pretty nice benefit, hey? Now, you guys do have children, right? 2 of them? Yeah. 10 and 12? Oh, okay, yeah. Now, these are your no-cost child safe ID kits. Are you familiar with Amber Alerts, Jane? Yeah. Police and our communities are actively searching for over 2,300 children each and every day, and over 800,000 children each year. When unprepared, it can take up to 4 hours for the police to collect the information needed to put together an Amber Alert. That means a 4-hour search radius in every direction. Even more frightening is the fact that if the lost child isn't found within the first 24 hours, there is a 93% chance they won't be found or won't be found alive. So Tommy and Jane, can you see why these child safe kits are so very important for every parent? So here's where you put the photograph and the child information. On here is their personal information and phone numbers, physical description, including birthmarks, scars, and of course, fingerprinting. Now to fingerprint, I would suggest getting a piece of saran wrap and a marker. Scribble on the saran wrap and dip your child's finger in the ink and move it over to, of course, to the fingerprint and repeat as needed. Right. Now this so John and Mary, Tommy and Jane, do you have your wills done? Okay, these are your family information guide. It's not a will, but it's really important to fill these out and keep them at home in a safe place. So when something happens to you, your family and friends will know exactly what to do. There's one for each of you. At the top, there's a place for your name, birthday, and social. Now, persons to be notified. This is the most important part of this. Did you realize that in Canada, millions of dollars go unclaimed each and every year? Yeah. Because the family doesn't know about the insurance, or they don't know how to make a claim, or the company can't find the beneficiary. So they ask every member to write down 5 people each in the local area. Worst case Canada, that will be there to help the family out immediately when something happens to you. Now, Tommy, how many brothers and sisters do you have in Canada? Are your mom and dad in Canada? And what's your dad's first name? And Tommy, who's your best friend who's going to help out when something happens to you? Okay. And for you, Jane, how many brothers and sisters do you have? Who's the oldest? Oh, you are a lucky lady. Are your mom and dad in Canada? Right. Who's your best friend that's going to help out when something happens to you, Jane? Okay. Your let me scroll down. Yes, here we are. Your estate information goes here. Now, anything through work, put in pencil, because when your job's gone, the benefit's gone. Do you have any life insurance outside of work? No. Well, when you get some, you can put down the company and the phone numbers for the family to call. Okay, so this part down here is for your banking information. List this information here because when you die, someone in your family has to close your accounts. And here is your funeral service and final request. This is very important. Have either of you ever had to plan a funeral? Yeah, it's not a pleasant thing. Do you want cremation or burial? Yeah, either way, it's very expensive. Remind me before I go, part of this program takes care of your final expenses, but you will need to qualify for that. Do you see how important this guide is? Yeah. Okay, so just give me a second. I'm stopping sharing. And this is your no-cost will kit. People are realizing that wills cost a lot of money. In fact, the cost of a will in North America ranges from $500 to over $1,000 per individual. Even more surprising is how many families do not have a will prepared. Yeah, I know. Most people don't. I didn't. Yeah. They realize that everyone has a beneficiary for their bank accounts and their life insurance, but very few people have a will set up to take care of their children and the lives they leave behind. I'll email this out to you. Tommy and Jane, since you hadn't had the opportunity to get your wills done previously, these kits will assist you with getting these completed and save a lot of money in the process. Now, doesn't it feel good to have this taken care of? Yeah. Now, because you have an in with the union and AIL, they are allowing you to extend the same no-cost benefits package to the people in your life that are going to help out when something happens to you. So they're going to receive a $2,000 AD&D certificate, family information guide, will kits, and child safe ID kits of their own if they need some. Okay, so they do need to qualify and they have to be over 21 and they can't be in trouble with the law and they have to live in Canada. So for your sister, Sarah, how many child safe kits does she need? And what's her spouse's name and partner? First name? And what city are they in? And for your brother, Tony, how many child safe kits does he need? And spouse's name, continue through the list. Just 1 second. Now, now Tommy and Jane, it's very important that you let the people you sponsored know who I am first. In fact, you do text, right? Yeah, everybody texts. I'm going to send you a text right now that you can send to them so that they know exactly what's going on and how important this is. Let me know when you get that. Great. Now go ahead and forward this text to them right now, because if you're anything like me, you'll probably forget to do it later. Starting with the first person on our list, let me know when you've sent that so I can check that off that it's done. Tony and Jane, since you didn't find out exactly what your cousin did for you, I'll back up a bit. Yeah. Now, as they mentioned in the letter, there's a program they've set up for the members. In fact, there is a labor advisory board, and that I would love to show you. All right. This labor advisory board consists of 54 international labor and association leaders. They're very important because they do is to help advise and make recommendations as to where the gaps in your benefits are and what benefits people need. You see, Tommy and Jane, that's the reason they were chosen to do the program for the unions, because they realized that typically 31 days after you leave your job and get laid off or retire, you can lose all your insurance benefits or they greatly get reduced. These are permanent and portable insurance benefits, and if you qualify, you keep them for the rest of your life. Pretty nice, hey? Yeah. In fact, they don't just work with police, firefighters, and teachers. They work with over 40,000 groups and are rated A+, and over 5 million members are enrolled. So they must be doing something right, wouldn't you say, huh? Yeah. So I just have a letter that I need to read out to you. So I'm going to stop sharing this. Bear with me. Ah. So I'm going to, this is the letter from the unions and AIL. Dear member, the following programs are being made available on a voluntary basis through your group and AIL Canada, a 100% union label company with a long-standing history of protecting working families. AIL supplemental benefits and not in competition with any group benefits through your workplace employer, and can complement any insurance benefits that you may already have. If you choose to take advantage of any benefits offered through AIL, your benefit program is permanent and portable throughout your lifetime. AIL's supplemental benefits include automatic built-in features to help members during hard times, such as strike and layoff waiver of premium benefit. If you qualify, your coverage lasts a lifetime and is under your independent control. Once the program has been explained to you, we're sure you'll agree with the other participating members how valuable this program can be in a time of need. There are several benefits available. Please take a few minutes and listen to the representative who is calling on you. If they can help with your needs in this area, please take advantage today. We would like your feedback, so please take a minute to complete the report form. This information helps us serve you more effectively. Yeah. Okay. So you can see why this is so important, right? Yeah. Okay, let me get back to myself. But just because they've extended these benefits to you doesn't mean you're automatically allowed to enroll. You have to qualify. If you're too high risk, they can't let you in. So they have me ask you a couple of questions just to make sure. Now, have you ever had a problem with drugs or alcohol? Any arrests, including DUIs? Do you take any prescription medications? Yeah, okay. Have you ever had any health issues in your lifetime? Okay. Have either of you used any tobacco, nicotine, or smoked marijuana in the past 12 months? Has anyone in your household been diagnosed with COVID-19 in the past 3 months? Any family history of cancer, diabetes, or heart disease? Okay. Yeah. Based on what you, yeah. Now, I filled out your name. Can you verify that this information is correct? Based on what you've told me, I'm not sure if you're qualified yet, but you do have a chance, so I can at least explain the benefits to you. The needs analysis determines needs based on 3 things: family situation, benefits you already have, and income. So what they have me do is to ask you a couple of questions to see exactly what you might qualify for. Now, Tommy and Jane, did Spencer fill you in on the Hour Power program? He didn't. Hour Power is a very old principle that says all members should take the first 1 hour of their weekly wage and set it aside to protect themselves and provide for their family's future. Now, 1 hour of your wage each week is roughly 1/40th of your income, right? And that's not going to change your lifestyle any, is it? Of course not. Any financial planner would tell you to set aside at least 10 to 15% of your income. Your program is based on 1 hour, which is only 2.5%. So all the members can afford this. Now, provided that you can qualify, they allow you to set aside between $20 and $100 each week. Every member has different situations and different hourly wages. What I'm obliged to do is to show you what setting aside your 1 hour combined will do and what kind of protection that will provide. Then, when I am done, they would like to have your opinion on this report card that goes directly back to the union. It lets them know I've done my job, and is that fair? Yeah. So Tommy, what do you make an hour? And Jane, what do you make an hour? Now, what I am going to do is show you what setting aside this $72 a week will do for your family and what kind of protection that it will provide. Just like any other enrollment period provided that you can qualify, there are forms that need to be filled out together today. And that's not something that we can do later over the phone. So be sure to stop me anytime that you have questions. Is that fair? Okay. Now, they're concerned with 3 major areas: accidental injuries, final expenses, and finally, paycheck protection. The first area they're concerned with where the first area they're concerned with is when you are injured in any type of accident. Have either one of you ever thought about what you will do when you get injured in an accident? Well, the Labor Advisory Board sure has, and an American Income have given it a lot of thought. Their concern isn't that your medical bills won't be taken care of. I mean, you have healthcare that takes care of that. When it's a job related, then it's workers' compensation is there. And many members have some form of disability. What they are concerned about is lost wages and other expenses that start adding up. Now, Tommy, when you end up in the hospital, even though your medical bills are taken care of, no one pays you to be there. Jane, when you get that phone call, obviously you won't be working either. You will be by his side, and vice versa. God forbid something happens to any of your children. In that case, no one is working, right? Tommy, when you and Jane or any of your kids get hurt and have to go to the emergency room, they're going to send you $150 a day. And this is for any kind of injuries that gets looked at. That's for whether you get a scrape on your knee, stitches, or anything off the job. That money comes to you here at home. The only exception to that is when you have to stay overnight in a hospital. They're going to send you $300 a day for up to a full year. Now, let me ask you, when that money comes in, will that help your family? Yeah, of course it will. Now, the only exception to this is when you have to stay in intensive care. They're going to send you $600 a day for up to 2 full weeks. The reason why it's this amount for each week is because usually when you're in intensive care, it's a life or death situation. Does that make sense? Yeah. Now, the second area they're concerned with is your final expenses. Now, Tommy, who's going to be responsible for taking care of your funeral and final expenses when something happens to you? Now, let me ask you, have either one of you ever had to plan a funeral? Yeah. The reason that I ask that, it's a very serious problem. Now, the concern is not the fact that you're going to die, because we all will, right? But when we die, someone in our family has to face a funeral director immediately. Funeral directors these days require all or the bulk of the money up front, on the spot, before they start doing anything, or they at least want to know where the money is coming from. Did you guys realize that? A lot of people don't. So while your family is waiting for your life insurance to come in, who has to take care of things in the meantime? That's right, the family, or you, Jane. They either have to take the money out of savings if they have it, or worst case yet, borrow it. Does that make sense? So now what they've done is, to take care of your final expenses. If you qualify, each of you will receive around $90,000. Yeah. Yeah, this is to take care of your funeral and final expenses. What's not used at the funeral home gets sent to the beneficiary. Now, let me ask you, Tommy and Jane, isn't it nice to finally have this taken care of for your family? Yeah, exactly. Each of the kids are covered for $10,000. And this benefit that can be converted to $50,000 at age 21, regardless of their health or habits. that they can keep for the rest of their life. Pretty nice, hey? Now, the exception to this, when you die before the age of 65, it will typically be in some kind of accident, right? Yeah. Now, Tommy, when something happens to you in any type of accident, not only will they immediately take care of all your final expenses, but they're going to send your family an additional $80,000 to help out during that time. When you die in an accident, what kind of accident will it probably be? Yeah, that's right, a car accident. In that case, they're going to send you an additional $110,000. Yeah. Yeah. Okay. And yes, I know. Well, it's a good sum of money. And okay, and when traveling on a common carrier like a bus, plane, or train, they'll send an additional $200,000. And yeah. Each of your children are also covered for 20% of what you as the parents are covered for for the same accidental deaths. Does that make sense? Okay. The third problem that they're concerned about is your paycheck. Tommy, you're on your way home from work and you get killed in a car accident or pass away from a stroke or heart attack. Is your paycheck going to keep coming in to support Jane and the family? Of course not. Your paycheck vanishes just like that. But taking care of the family, putting food on the table, paying the bills, those will pretty much stay the same. So Jane, the bills keep coming in month after month and Tommy's paycheck is gone, right? But let me ask you, do you have life insurance, right? Hopefully. And do they realize the members do have life insurance? But here's what happens in a typical situation when you die. Your family immediately has to start dipping into those lump sums. First for reimbursement of your burial and miscellaneous expenses, and then because your paychecks have stopped coming in. You have to keep dipping into your savings to pay bills and put food on the table. And then a year or two later, what happens to all that money? That's right. It's completely disappeared. It's gone. So here is your paycheck protection. And Tommy, when something happens to you, they're going to start sending Mary $5,890 odd dollars every month. Yeah. And yes, and this goes on for a full year. Now, the reason they chose at least a year is because you need a decent time to adjust. A couple of months just isn't going to be enough time. Does that make sense? Yeah. What they're going to do in your case, Tommy, when you die, they're going to start sending Jane the $5,000 every single month for any cause of death. Jane, when something happens to Tommy and they send you and your family that check every month, will that give your family time to adjust? Of course it will. Now, Jane, you'll be in the position that when that does happen, you take the money you receive and get it invested for your future children's education and retirement. Does that make sense? And Jane, when something happens to you, Tommy will receive 4,800 when something happens to you, and that's for a year and a half. Does that make sense? Yeah. Now this does build an emergency fund. After 3 years, if things ever get tight financially, they will be some money to help you take care of your program during that time, so that you don't lose it. There are also paid up benefits. So when you retire, you can stop contributing to the program and keep a reduced paid up final expense benefit for the rest of your life. Pretty nice, huh? Have you ever thought about what you will do when you are diagnosed with a terminal illness? Well, they put a lot of thought into it. In fact, they realize you're going to need a lot of money. When you're diagnosed with terminal illness and not expected to live more than a year, they are going to send you half the final expenses and paycheck protection. The other half will come to your family after you are gone. There is a strike and layoff clause that you can't lose your program. In fact, in the case of union strike, they will take care of your insurance benefits for you up to a year, and you never have to pay it back. Tommy, even if you can't work for just 1 day because of a strike, they will take care of your benefits, not only for the week, which is this amount, but for the whole month, which is that $5,900. And this is a pretty nice benefit, hey? Also, the insurance benefits are guaranteed and non-cancelable, which means if you qualify there, then no matter what happens in the future, your health, age, or habits, no one can ever take this away from you. Does that make sense? Now, I have showed you what setting aside 1 hour combined will do for your family. Let's review it to make sure it's clear. Your accidental injury benefits are there for your family. Your freedom of choice certificate covers you and Jane and the children for any cause of death and is there until you need it. Your paycheck protection and all your protections on the side here no matter what happens to you. Again, you can see why this is so important to your family. Now, my job, because of what your cousin did for you is to help you to get enrolled in what you can qualify for. The best part is they set this up like payroll deduction, but they do it as a once a month through your own checking account. That way, when you change jobs or retire, you never have to worry about losing the insurance benefits because they are under your control, not your employers or the union. Pretty nice, huh? Now, Tommy and Mary, let's face it, we're all going to die. And we don't really have a choice, not at all. Either we deal with this now, or someone in your immediate family, brother, sister, whatever, will have to deal with this when something happens. Does this make sense? Now, you will have to answer. Just 1 second, sir. Now, you will have to answer some medical questions to see if you can even qualify, but probably the most important question I need to ask you is when something happens to both of you, say in a bad car wreck, there will be a little over 200,000. Who do you want this money to go to? Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Okay. Now, Tommy and Mary, it doesn't make a difference to them which program you try to qualify for. Most families try to qualify for their 1 hour combined. Which way do you want to go? Some families ask if they can do more and set aside more for their family and double their benefits, and sometimes members choose a more basic program just to get started, and they know they will upgrade down the road. Provided they still qualify. Which way do you want to go?